Welcome to Coding with T, and I'm your host, Tiffany. In this video, we're going to cover how to accept a user's input. There's a few ways to do this, but we're going to use the most easiest and the most common way. With that being said, we're going to use the scanner object. Before we start using the scanner object, first we must use the import statement. Import java.util.scanner. Make sure it has a semicolon on the side of it. This statement is important because it gives us access to the scanner class. Now that we have our input statement, let's create a scanner object and pass system.in as an argument. System.in tells the compiler we want to pull input from the standard input device, which in most cases is a keyboard. Let me dial it back a little because I did mention a scanner object. And if you're unsure about what objects or even classes are, make sure your notifications are turned on. And be sure to subscribe to the channel because we're going to discuss objects and classes in the next video. For now, this is what you need to know. To accept a user's input, we're going to use the scanner class. We're going to type scanner and we're going to name our scanner reader. And then we're going to initialize it to a new scanner. Inside the parentheses, we're going to type system.in. Make sure you close that statement with a semicolon. Furthermore, the scanner class contains a few methods that we can use to read input from our users. A few of the most commonly used methods are the nextInt method, the nextDouble method, and the nextLine method. These methods are used to either read a int, a double, or a string data type, respectively. Now let's write our program. Let's type a prompt statement for our users. To do this, we type system.out.println. Inside the parentheses, we're going to use quotes. Inside the quotes, we're going to type enter your age. And make sure it's closed with a semicolon. Now we're going to create an int variable. And we're going to name it age because we need to store the user's input. So why not store it in a variable named age? Then we're going to use the assignment operator because we want to assign the user's input to the age variable. Then we type input.nextInt. And then we have parentheses. On the side of the parentheses, we're going to make sure it's closed with a semicolon. Before we type anything else, let me break this statement down a bit. Input is our scanner object. We created this object here, and we created it so that we could read input. Then we used the dot operator and typed nextInt, parentheses, and a semicolon. This dot operator calls the nextInt method, which is a part of the scanner class. It tells the compiler not only does it want to read the user's input, but it suspects the user will enter an integer value, and I want to read that nextInt value. That value is then stored in the age variable. FYI, if you're looking to read an int value, be sure your data type variable is an int. In our example, we used int age and we called the nextInt method. Now, had we created a double data type variable and named it age, then tried to call the nextInt method, we would have gotten an error message. Let's get back to writing our code. Let's system.out.printf. Inside the parentheses, we're going to use quotes. Inside the quotes, we're going to type you are $d years old. We're going to use $n and $n again. And then we're going to move aside and use a comma, and we're going to use the variable name age. And we're going to move outside of those parentheses and use a semicolon. Let's run our program. And voila, it works. Now let's work on reading a double data type. First, we want to prompt the user. To do this, we type system.out.println. Inside the parentheses, we're going to use quotes. We're going to type, "What is your shoe size?" Now, in this example, I'm going to assume the user wears a half-size shoe, only because the goal is to show you how to read a double data type. Now, let's create a double variable. We're going to name it shoe size. We're going to use the assignment operator and use the input object to call the next double method. Now we're going to system.out.printf. Inside of the parentheses, we're going to use quotes. And then we're going to type "you wear size %, dot 1F dot %, and another %, and we're going to move outside those quotes and use a comma. And we're going to use our variable name, shoe size. Outside those parentheses, we're going to make sure we have it closed with a semicolon. Let's run our program. And voila, it works. The %, dot 1F dot tells the compiler we're trying to display a float value such as a decimal number, but the 1 implies I only want to display 1 digit after the decimal point. Now let's work on reading a string. Let's prompt our user by typing system.out.println. Inside of the parentheses, we're going to use quotes. We're going to type the string, "What is your name?" And then we're going to move outside of the parentheses and we're going to close it with a semicolon. It's time to create a string variable and we're going to name it name. And then we're going to use the assignment operator and then we're going to type input.nextLine. And outside of those parentheses, we're going to make sure it's closed with a semicolon. Then we're going to system.out.printf. Inside of the parentheses, we're going to type quotes. Inside of the quotes, we're going to type the statement "hi," and then we're going to use the % and the letter S with an exclamation mark. We're going to move over and use another %, the letter N, another %, the letter N. Outside of those quotes, we're going to make sure we have a comma, and then we're going to use the variable name, name. And then we're going to make sure it's closed with a semicolon. Let's run our program. And voila, it works. Our output is "Hi Tiffany." The %s was replaced by the string stored at the name variable. And then I used the new line converter to create empty lines below my output statement. Okay, Codies, we're going to end it here. If this video helped you out, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, hit that notification button, and also drop a comment and share the video. Thanks for watching, and don't miss out on the next video.